Welcome to this week's Dream Card judging video here at BOTB. We'd now like to hand over to today's lawyer from Onside Law who'll oversee the proceedings.
My name's Charlotte Houston from Onside Law and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company Assets. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
My name's Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Hi, I'm Jenna Scalacci, retired professional footballer. I'm now a head coach on a Tottenham football programme.
Good morning. My name's Andy Braithwaite and I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional football player. I've played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and am now a senior county referee.
Good morning, my name's Peter Giorgio and I am a futsal and football referee.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Hi, my name is Ari Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, firstly as a player and then as a referee.
Hi, my name's Renae Hector. I play football for Watford FC Women and I'm a coach for Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is a calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning.
So we've got two teams, one in black, one in purple, and three players in shot. The player number 5, he's got his back to us and he's just looking towards his teammate. I shall draw some lines up from this player. You've got a really good view of one of his eyes. And there's a section of 3 above and a couple lower down. And I suspect that's because of how close his ball is to this player here. If I draw up from his eye, we've got a good eye. And we go right up there through Leo's. And then we've got a little bit further to the right on a bigger spread through Ari's. Okay, so there we are. So, Ari, I'll come to you first. There you are, your lime green cross, and you're a little bit further to the right than the majority of us. How did you see the shot and what was happening?
Yes, I felt that the player playing the ball must have bounced on the floor, went a bit higher, and the player in the middle in purple is adjusting his body. I don't think he's going to head the ball. I think he's going to let the ball come down and probably chest it. That's what I believe he's going to do. The player on the left-hand side, I can see that he's rushing to the challenge. He will try to jump, and he's looking straight to that direction. Then it's just a matter to see exactly the angle because we don't have the other eye on the player in the middle. Actually, on both of them, just to have a comparison. But that's what I felt that the ball should be.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Andy, you're just at the top here. Do you agree with Ari that the ball's bounced, or do you have a different opinion? There you go. You're the dark blue cross there. I put the highlighter over.
I'm not sure whether it's bounced or not, but I agree with Ari in regards to, I feel he's going to probably try and chest the ball down rather than head it. But just for me, his body language, his arms out, opening his body for me to chest it down. I've taken a bit or quite a bit from the guy behind. I'm in the line with Jenna and Leo's there regarding the guy to the left of the picture in black, the way that he's looking towards the ball on that trajectory. And then it was just a case of how far I thought it was away from the guy in the middle's body to his head coming down.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Jenna, I'll come to you next. As Andy's pointed out, you're in a line with him and Leo. You're just a little bit further down on that trajectory. There's your your yellow cross, and I'll put the highlighter of it. What did you see in the shot?
I saw it slightly different. I felt that the ball was coming in, and I felt the player in the middle was kind of backtracking, maybe caught out of position. And I felt the player in the darker shirt, he was going to come and challenge for the ball over the top.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the player in the middle was going to bring it down at all. I've gone slightly higher with my cross. The guy in the darker shirt, I felt you could see slight white at the bottom of his eye, and just use like his head direction to get my height.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, because I think as you pointed out, the player in the middle, his arms are a bit strange. I mean, Harry said the same thing. So it's not as like he's going to come in power ahead, or he's sort of off balance a bit and maybe just, as you said, backtracking. So that's great. Thank you. Leo, there you are. You're the dark pink cross just below Jenna's on that same line. There's the highlighter. Did you see it the same way?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a header, Matt. I think the ball's there. I think the player in purple, I think he is backtracking, and I think the reason his arms are maybe a little bit unusual is he's just adjusting his body, so he's sort of moving his body back. I think they're both still on the ground. I think they're still yet to jump and challenge for the ball. I got the height from the player in black. I think his head is tilted, Matt, and so you get a good view of his eye there. So
yeah,
that's how I judge the height of where I think the ball is. But mainly the player in purple, as I said, he's backtracking. He's trying to get to the ball.
Yeah, great, thank you. So I'll come to you, Peter. You're just next to Nigel at the bottom here, and a little bit lower on the trajectory of the three judges we've just spoken to. There's your light blue cross. How did you see what was happening? There you are, over with the magnifier there.
Yeah, I saw it as the ball coming in, but across to going to the left, and the player, like the colleague said, that playing purple, he's actually backtracking, so it's slightly going over him. Hence like Leo said, the awkward hand at the actual position itself. And what I've done is I've just gone with the eye line with the player in the black jersey there coming across, and that's where I've put the centre of the ball is distance away from the player in purple, who I think is favourite for the ball.
Yeah, great, thank you. And Nigel, I'll come to you next because you're in under this magnifier, the dark green cross. There you go. How did you see the pick?
I felt that, I also felt it's probably a bouncing ball. I felt the ball was probably moving over the two players there, because it doesn't look like anybody's in the air, judging from their relative height to the player who's nearest to us. I think everybody's got their feet on the ground, and they're watching the ball. I think it's sailing over the pair of them, and that's why it's above the purple player in the centre. That's why he's leaning back and looking almost directly up for me. I'd take the point about the player in black. You can see a little bit of white under his eyes. I think you can also see his eyelid as well, which for me made it look as though he was pretty much 90 degrees out from his face. He was looking, which is why I judged his sight line accordingly. And that's where my cross is. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Rennie, I'll come to you next. Pink, you're the closest to the middle of this, or the middle of us all, really. I'll put the highlighter over yours. There you are. How did you see this?
Yeah, similar to what some of the more recent judges have said. I believe the ball is coming from heights, whether that was a bounce or someone sort of hoisted it up in the air. And I believe the player in purple is sort of off balance and trying to backtrack, and maybe he might get something on it and maybe flick it on. But he'll definitely be off balance and not have much control about that. So I got my direction sort of from his eyes, because I didn't want to put it directly straight through his forehead, so it's a little bit out in front of him. And then I just got my height from the player in black. that's where I feel like his eye line is looking. I do feel like he's going to try and come through the back and challenge over the top of the player in purple. But that's why I put my centre of the ball there.
Yeah, thank you. And then there's the three of us sort of in a little cluster in the middle there. I mean, I put my choice where it is there. I did think the player in black looked like he was sort of slightly down on his haunches and with his arms out, ready to come into the back of the player in purple. And as I said, everyone's alluded to it, you know, the ball could have bounced, it could have come over, but again, as Rennie also said, I believe this player might try and get a flick on the ball. But next to me, Alain, there you are, you're the orange cross. I'll put the highlighter over yours. You can see yourself, myself, and Kieran's in this magnifier. Did you see this differently?
No, yeah, I see it, you know, like most of my colleagues. I think the ball is coming with height. And I agree, yeah, the player in purple in the middle is backtracking. I think he's leaning slightly backwards. So I think he's trying to adjust his position to make sure that he's going to be on the right spot where the ball is gonna land. The player on the left, I'm not sure actually he's going to challenge. I think he's more checking, you know, what his opponent is going to do, and ready maybe for the second. Get ready for the second ball. I thought he was looking, you know, up diagonally. I think we can see a bit of a wide of his eye. So I went, you know, a bit slightly above 45 degrees from his eye.
Yeah, great, thank you. And lastly but not least, Kieran, there's your purple cross there. Again, there you are. Any difference from anybody else, or?
I'm much the same. Yeah, no, thanks, Matt. I think I'm much the same as most of the judges. I personally felt the ball was coming in as some kind of cross. I think the players in purple are defenders because we've got number 5, which is normally and he's got the captain's armband on, and presume that he's a defender. I think you're right, and the player in black is coming in to challenge and going to make a jump, but they're coming in at slightly different angles. The body shape positions are slightly different. I think the player in the centre is leaning back, stretching back to make a sort of possibly a defensive header just to get anything on the ball. The ball looks like it's almost directly above him, slightly in front, but almost above. So he's not going to make a proper powerful header or header on the forehead, clear distance. So, yeah, otherwise, I think everybody else I'm more or less agreeing with where we think the ball is in that sort of area.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, yes, it's an interesting one. I mean, also, we don't know whether the ball has bounced, whether it's coming in, but all scenarios fit what's happening with the players in shot. Now, that calculated average, we show that we've got Andy's above, Ari's popping out to the right. If I undo one of the lines here, the last one, and draw another one in, discounting Ari's, you see it becomes a much, much tighter look. And it's not to say that Ari's choice isn't valid, but I think with this player particularly and the choice of the panel going up, it would be interesting to see what the calculated average is like with Ari's discounted. It obviously moves into the middle, and we have Andy's popping out the top and a couple of people's bits sticking out the bottom. If we put Ari's back in again and put over the calculated average, again, it does envelop part of Ari's cross. So what I'd like to do at first is to have a panel vote whether we think that the spread is okay with Ari's in, or whether we want to keep it up to a tighter line. And then obviously then we could discuss whether we want to remove other players or other choices to make it a little bit tighter in the cluster, or whether we're happy with the calculated average being in the middle. So that's the first choice. So Nigel, if I come to you, and to be clear, this is to see whether we want to judge with or without Ari's, just because of where this look is up from this player predominantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I would vote to keep Ari in. I feel with the magnifier centered over the cross where it is with Ari's in, it does at least significantly partially cover Ari's cross and meets the criteria for keeping them in.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Rennie?
Yeah, I would keep Ari's cross in, but purely because with his in, it keeps the average closer to my own cross.
Absolutely right. Yeah, thank you. Andy?
Technically speaking, I don't feel it's that far right. I would take Harry's out.
Okay, thank you. Alain?
I think that without Harry, sorry, we've got a narrow band, and you know, I don't think he's looking, you know, that much on the right, so I would keep him out.
Okay, thank you. Kieran?
Yeah, I'd agree with Alan. I think we've got a very narrow band from the player in purple in the middle without Harry, and although Harry's is a credible position, I think that's a better place.
Okay, thank you. Peter?
Yeah, I agree with Kieran in regards to it's a much tighter band, and to have Harry out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Leo?
Yeah, I would take Harry out. I just think both sets of players' eyes are not looking that far over there.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And lastly, Jenna.
Yeah, I would take Harry out. I just think it brings it a lot tighter and closer with my own cross.
Okay, thank you. So with a quite substantial vote, we've decided to remove Ari. And now with the calculated average here, I'd like to hear from you all again about whether we should look at, or whether anyone would like to look at other ones removed and see how it shifts the calculated average around, which is principally, I think if we remove Andy, it drops down here, and then Jenna's popping out the top a little bit. And as I think we discussed last week, the two at the bottom, which I think was mine and Alain, if we remove the two here, it brings it up again, but it doesn't encompass everybody's. So my own view is this is a good compromise between all our choices. It doesn't encompass everybody's, but I think it, with this player looking up, but that's just a personal opinion. So Nigel, I'd love your thoughts on this, and then if we have a consensus that we want to go back and have a vote on someone's, then we can do that.
Matt, can I just interrupt? Have you got Nigel's missing at the moment? It seems to be not in.
Oh, beg your pardon. Yes, I have. Well spotted. There you are.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's all right. No problem.
Hiding behind the Peters there. Yeah.
So indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So there's, yeah. So thank you very much, Kieran. So Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be inclined to leave it as it is now. I think we've got a very narrow band for the purple player who's underneath the ball, and I think removing if you start removing players now of the remaining crosses, I think that you're either going to have to remove quite a few to keep the balance, or it's going to shift too high or too low.
Yeah.
Or if you leave them all in, I think we've got a good spread across that crossroads between the two sight lines that we've got now, and everybody's sitting in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Renee.
Yeah, I think all the crosses should be left in. I think if you start removing crosses like just then when you removed Andy's, then Jenna's started popping out, and then you're going to have to sort of keep removing crosses. So I think to keep the position credible, just to keep everybody in, I think it's a good balance.
Yeah, thanks. And one thing I will add is that obviously we usually go for numbers above, numbers below, which is obviously we've now got an odd number, but there's quite a tight cluster in the middle with Renee, myself, Kieran and Alain. So that does sort of, it narrows it down as well, but that's great. So Andy?
I'm happier with the average as it is now, but I will say though that if I was to put the magnifier across the lower two, I don't think the centre of the ball is there, but I'm happier with the average as it is.
Yeah, thanks very much, Andy. Alain?
Yeah, I'm happy to keep everyone in. I think, there's a good balance. And, I said, if we remove Andy, you would have to remove, who is it, the blue cross and I think it's the...
Peter and Nigel, yeah.
The other one at the bottom. So I'm happy to keep everyone as it is.
Great, thank you. Kieran?
Yes, I agree. I think leave everybody there.
Okay, Peter?
Yes, everyone in.
Thank you. Leo?
Yeah, even though I think it's a little bit higher, I think the average works well.
Yeah, thank you. Ari?
Yes, the way it is now, I would keep everyone in as well.
Yeah, great, thank you. And lastly, Jenna?
Yeah, I agree. I think keep everyone in. It's a narrow band there.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, for the players of the competition, I mean, where we have calculated this average from our own choices is sort of smack bang in a good eye line, which I'll draw in from this player in black who's looking across. If I take it through this calculated average. It's a good central view. And as I said, it's a very narrow look up from this player in the middle. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. So Charlotte, after a panel vote, we've removed Ari's choice to bring it into this narrow band. And then after a good discussion, we've decided to leave everybody else's choices and go with this calculated average.
Thank you, judges. If you're happy, please click submit. Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 2167 and 1670. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company ASX to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.